Hello guys, Zennosh here, and today in this video of Eroica, I'm here to present you guys a list of top 5 2-star hero units in this game as of now. As a beginner, you might not be able to get your hands on all the 3-star heroes of your choice to be in your team, right? So in the meantime, you might really want to build your team around 2-star heroes that can help you a lot in your gameplay progression. And now the question is, who are these heroes? And today in this video, I'm going to discuss it with you guys. So on the top of the list comes Milena. This hot babe is really capable of dealing very amazing damage against the single target opponents out there. Looking into her basic stats alone, her attack stat is going to be 1453 points at max, which is highest compared to any other 2-star hero units out there. So that means like this babe can actually deal very impressive damage against the opponents out there. Attack speed is going to be boosted by 287 points, with which she can actually deliver her attack at a very high speed rate. Okay, so with very swift speed, she can deliver a fatal blow. Looking into her normal attack, guys, which is known as Swift and Boost, deals 110% of attack on the target and bleeds it with 75% chance for 3 turns. Thanks to a very high attack stat, her bleed effect can actually really hurt the opponents out there. Looking into her active skill number 1, known as the Relentless Chaser, which has only a cooldown of 2 turns. That means like she can actually keep on using the skill very frequently. Increases crit rate by a whopping 60% chance for 3 freaking turns. That is so good, guys. With this very high crit rate boost, she's going to have easier time in landing critical damage against opponents for extra heavy damage. Alright, and she also receives an extra turn as well. That means she can follow up with either active skill number 2 or normal attack right away after using her active skill number 1. So that makes it so awesome skill indeed. Alright, and also grants chase state for 3 freaking turns as well. So under the chase state, she is going to ignore the taunt coming from the opponents. Alright, and that means like she can actually pick the opponents of her choice without any problem at all, and she cannot be taunted at the same time. That means like she will not be forced to attack that certain tanky unit that actually taunt her on the first place. So that is actually quite strategical indeed. Next is going to be active skill number 2, known as the Rule of Wildfire. It has a 3-turn cooldown. That was like she is definitely going to have easy time in using this skill over and over again. Deals 240% of attack on the target. That's a very heavy nuke damage, and well, additionally she will cause bleed state for 3 turns with a 100% chance effect. That is so freaking damn good, guys. Thanks to a very high attack stat, definitely her bleed is going to deal extra heavy damage against the opponents out there. Looking into her passives, guys, her first passive is going to improve her attack by 20%, her second passive is going to improve her accuracy rate by 15%, and finally her third passive is going to improve her penetration rate by 20%. That is definitely going to help her a lot in dealing a very good damage against the opponents out there, all in all. Okay, so this hot babe waifu is definitely going to be a very helpful unit in your team if you are missing a very good single target nuker in your team, right? Definitely, if you are going to fight against boss units, this unit is going to be a really great help. Alright, now let's move on to the next unit. Who is it going to be? So next unit in the list is going to be Freyja, this green girl, this green archer right over here, guys. Looking into a basic stat, her attack stat is pretty impressive with 1,349 points, and her attack speed is going to be 287 points. That makes her a very fast unit indeed. Alright, that set aside, looking into her normal attack, deals 120% of attack on a target. That's a lot of damage on a single target. Looking into her active skill number 1, which is a bread and butter, look into it, guys. It has a cooldown of 3 turns only, deals 120% of attack on a target, and increases critical damage boost by 80% with 100% chance for 1 turn. That means like if she manages to land a crit hit on that particular target, she's definitely going to deal a very heavy damage on that opponent with that 80% of critical damage boost. Alright, and guess what, guys? If she actually managed to land or hit the opponent with a critical hit, then her damage is further going to be boosted by 30%. So that is so good, guys. A lot of damage just hidden in this one particular skill out here. And now let's move on to her active skill number 2, known as the Arrow Shower, which has a 5-turn cooldown, which is a little bit disadvantageous, but anyways, let's look into it. Deals 240% of attack on all enemies. Okay, it's an AoE attack. Definitely it's going to be quite helpful for you guys in clearing out the mobs of opponents right away, and clearing out the story content as soon as possible, right? And guess what, guys? The more enemies, the lesser the damage, meaning like if there are less enemy, like let's say if there is only one opponent standing in front of you, then this Freyja is going to deal shitload of damage against that opponent out there, guys. So that's going to be a very huge nuke, okay? So she has a really great potential of eliminating the boss units out there. It's just that you gotta, you know, like, make that boss unit very lonely, okay? Just single him out, and that boss unit is going to take some heavy damage from this Freyja out here. Looking into passive, guys, first passive is going to improve her attack stat by 20%. Her second passive is going to improve her damage reduction by 20%. Survival stuff out here. And her third passive is going to improve her accuracy rate by 15% as well. So that's pretty good, isn't it? So this wife unit is really capable of heavy damage and AoE attack. That's going to really help you a lot in your gameplay progression, especially in the story battles. Alright, and who is going to be the third unit? The third unit is going to be Xenia, okay, or Xenia, or whatever you may call it. Xenia? Okay, this mage fire unit, who is also really hot babe, is capable of providing a lot of damage against the opponents out there. Looking into our max stats, guys, her attack stat is going to be 1,349 points, which is really high, and our attack speed is going to be 263 points, which is pretty swift as well. Not really that fast as the previous two units, but still, she can actually hold the battle of her own, alright? So look into her first, or let's say this normal attack right over here, known as Ignition, which says deals 110% of attack on a target and burns it with 75% chance for 3 turns. Thanks for a high attack stat, definitely her burn is going to inflict a lot of damage against the opponents out there. And with her active skill number 1, known as the Flame Breath, deals 100% of attack on all enemies and causes 30% damage additionally if the target is burned. Okay, so burn, guys. Really good area attack, and if the targets are burned, definitely it's going to deal even more damage to the opponents out there, and it has a 3-turn cooldown as well. Next is going to be the active skill number 2, known as the Prominence, which has a 4-turn cooldown. Deals 120% of attack on all enemies and burns it with 100% chance for 3 turns up to 2 times. This waifu is really good at burning the opponents, and based on the burns, she can also improve the damage caused on the opponents, like boosting the damage by 30% if the targets are burned. So that is really good, guys. If you really are looking forward for a very good crowd controller, then well, this 2-star hero unit known as Xenia is going to be a really great help. I mean, like, set her beauty aside, she definitely is going to pack a lot of punch against the opponents out there. So really cool unit, guys. Really cool unit. Next is going to be our passive effects. Let's look into it. Talent of Gladiator increases the attack by 20%, increases debuff hit rate by 10%. That means like she's going to have easier time in inflicting the debuff on the opponents out there, and her penetration rate is also going to improve by 20%. So with all these things combined, definitely her burn is going to deal very heavy damage against the opponents out there with the boost effect as well, and a lot of dot effects out there. So that's really good, really meant for the crowd control, and with 2 dot damages, definitely she is going to be a very helpful unit for the story progression out there as fast as possible, okay? And now let's move on to the 4th unit. So who is going to be this 4th unit that you really want to be in your team? And it's gonna be Florence, okay? If it's going to be like games like Epic 7, you would definitely want to have this kind of unit in your team, all right? Because of her active skill number 2, known as the Frozen Twister. What it says that, like, deals 90% of attack on all enemies and reduces turn gaze with 75% chance for 50% for 2 turns. That is so good, guys. It is definitely going to make your opponents very slow compared to you, and you will be able to dominate your opponents in terms of the attack turn, alright? And with that one, definitely it's going to be a really great help for you guys to actually keep on spamming your skills even before the opponents can actually lay your hands on you. And definitely when later on, if the PvP battle is actually going to get announced, then well, at that time, definitely this skill is going to be a really great help in the arena content. Alright, as of now, it's pretty good indeed. AoE attack with that reduction in turn gaze effect, alright, for 2 turns as well. That's awesome. I love that, alright. Looking into our basic stats, guys, right over here at max, our attack is going to be boosted by 1,349 points, which is pretty good. Not bad, actually. And our attack speed is going to be 263 points. That means, like, she will be able to use her skills at a very good speed out there, alright. You can really count on her when you actually need her. Looking into our normal attack, deals 120% of attack on a target. That's pretty good. Decent damage, guys. Active skill number 1, Frost Wave, which says it has a 3-turn cooldown, deals 120% of attack on a target, and lowers attack speed by 50% with 100% chance for 2 turns. Okay, so you can actually pick a particular opponent and reduce its his or her attack speed by like 50% for 2 turns. That's pretty good. And on top of that one, also being able to reduce their turn gaze for 2 turns as well. That's awesome, man. This is definitely out there to slow down the opponents to their lowest, okay? And that means like your team is definitely going to have a really great help in dominating your opponents in terms of attack speed, okay? When the arena is going to be out, definitely is going to be the best unit to have, okay? Additionally, reduces turn gaze by 20% as well. Wow! Wow. That is so good, man. That is really good. Oh my god, this wife unit. Wow. Okay, let's look into her first passive skill effect. It improves her attack by 20%. That was like more damage output, and debuff hit rate by 10%, which is definitely going to be really helpful for her. This kind of like debuffs or negative status effects to be applied on the opponents really easily. And finally, her third passive effect, that's going to improve her attack speed by 10%, which is very crucial, guys. You really want her to be a very speedy unit, all right? With this extra attack speed improvement, definitely she's going to be a very fast unit with which you might possibly be able to start the battle with her with her having the first turn, okay? And that's going to be very helpful, all right? And that could actually, in the future arena contents, could actually, you know, like determine how the battle will go on, okay? Just like in Epic 7. So definitely a unit that you must actually have in your team. And now let's move on to the final unit. Who is it actually going to be? And it's going to be Guts, okay? So this 2-star hero unit is really capable of a lot, just like Florence as well, all right? So looking into her basic stats, it's really not that impressive. At max, his attack stat is 830 points only, which is so bad. And his attack speed is 239 points as well. So really no need to actually count on him when it comes to basic stats, man. That's so bad. So what's so special about him? Let's look into his skills, guys. His normal attack deals 120% of attack on the target. Okay, don't really focus on his damage, okay? It's really about the utility that he's going to provide to the team. With his first active skill, which is known as the F minor, recovers turn gaze of allies by 20%. That's definitely going to improve the speed of your team, and that's going to allow your team to act faster than compared to the opponents out there, and reduces turn gaze of the enemies by 20%, meaning like slowing the opponent at the same time. So that's really good. 40% of the turn gaze difference, okay? So that's definitely going to help you a lot, and it's a AoE basis as well. So that's pretty awesome. I love it. This is definitely going to be his bread and butter skill, and it has only a 3-turn cooldown as well. Look into that, guys, alright? Next is going to be the active skill number 2, variation of Ruin, which is also going to cost only 3, 3 cooldown, alright? Deals 120% of attack on all enemies and removes 2 buffs with the 80% chance. So it's an AoE effect, and it also deals damage while removing 2 buffs of the opponents out there, which can be really helpful, guys. Later on, when the PvP content is actually going to come out, definitely he's going to be also one of the another unit that you would definitely want to have in your team. And as of now as well, if you are fighting in that content where there is a lot of buff going on around with the opponent team, you would definitely want to bring this unit in your team, alright? Looking into passive effect, increases debuff resist rate by 10%, increases accuracy rate by 15%, and finally increases the debuff hit rate by 10%, which is going to be really helpful in inflicting those negative status effects on the opponents out there. The worst problem with this guy is that his attack speed is really low, so definitely you would really want to build a lot of speed stats on him. And if you can actually do that, definitely this character is going to put a big smile on your face, because like this guy can put a heavy pressure on the opponents with the turn gaze reduction on the enemies while improving the turn gaze of the allies at the same time, and while also removing their buff as well, so that the opponents will not actually go rampant on your team. Okay, so those are the 5 hero units that I think are the best heroes that you should actually be focusing on. In summary, guys, the first one is definitely going to be this Milena, who is the highest damage dealer out there in terms of 2-star category, alright? This babe really can dish out single target damage like there is no other day, thanks to her crit rate boost as well. And that chase state. So it's definitely going to be very strategical unit that will allow you to deal very heavy damage according to your will. All right, and next is going to be the Freyja, not only just capable of dealing AoE damage but also single target nuke, provided that if there is only one opponent standing next to you, then well that opponent is actually going to get very nuked. Okay, he's going to actually dealt very high damage, and with extra critical damage boost as well, plus extra damage boost, wow, the damage is going to amplify very hard. Next is going to be the Xenia. She is the queen of burns. She's going to keep on dealing a lot of burn damage on the opponents, and well, with that one, with the burn effect on the opponents, she's even going to deal extra heavy damage on that. Like, let's say her damage is going to be boosted by up to 30%. That is so good, isn't it? Right? So definitely this character is going to be really helpful out there, especially if you want to control the crowds. All right, so let's say she is a cheaper version of Melavi. And next is going to be the Florence out here, who is a very good unit in terms of support unit. All right, she's actually made for support, but hey, she can also dish out some really good damage thanks to her very superb attack stat, and her attack speed is pretty swift as well. When actually the PvP content, or let's say this arena content, is going to be announced later on, she's going to be a very vital hero unit. You just watch it. All right, she's definitely going to be a very vital unit out there, guys, and thanks to her passive effect that is actually going to improve her attack speed by 10%, it's going to be a really great help indeed, because she really needs a lot of attack speed boost, guys, okay, in order to be very effective out there. So with her ultimate skill, she is actually able to reduce the turn gaze of the opponents by up to 50% for 2 freaking turns, while also lowering the attack speed of the opponents, and also at the same time reducing the turn gaze of the enemies even further thanks to active skill number 1. So yeah, she is definitely going to be a really great help in providing a higher attack speed advantage to the entire team compared to the opponents out there. And finally, the next unit, the 5th unit, is going to be the Guts. Okay, this guy is very slow and really lacks a lot of, you know, like attack stats. So definitely don't really expect very good damage out of him, but when it comes to his skill sets, he can actually really turn the tides around with recovering the turn gaze of allies by 10%, like 20%, and reducing the turn gaze of the enemies by 20%. That can actually cause a very huge difference of turn gaze by up to 40% out there, which definitely can provide a very unfair advantage to you guys against the opponents right away. And you can even remove the buff of the opponents, and especially if the buff is going rampant against you guys, thanks to the buffs they have, then at that time definitely you would want to bring him around so that you can counter those shitty bastards. Okay, so that's it all for today, guys. What do you guys think about the top 5 2-star hero units that I just mentioned? If you do really agree with whatever I have said so far, whatever I have explained so far, then please hit that like and subscribe button right away. And if you do not, please let me know like which hero unit should have been listed in this top 5 2-star hero units. All right, I would really love to like discuss about him with you guys. All right, and that's it for today. See you guys in the next video.